Welcome everyone on this channel, Focus Me. Today we're doing a deep dive into something pretty fascinating, I think. It touches all of us. Is getting ahead financially, mostly luck, or is it maybe simpler, like what you actually do every single day?
It seems simple, doesn't it? But it's got layers.
Okay.
We're looking into Thomas C. Corley's research, especially his book, Rich Habits. And the whole idea really is that your financial situation might have less to do with your salary and much more with your daily routine.
Okay, let's unpack that because, well, we hear all the time you need some brilliant startup idea or, I don't know, get lucky with investments. But Corley kind of cuts through that. He spent 5 years really looking closely at the day-to-day lives of hundreds of self-made wealthy people versus people struggling financially.
And the results are, well, pretty stark. The data suggests wealth isn't some random event. It's often a reflection of these consistent, small, daily actions.
That feels empowering, actually,
Yeah.
because if it's all external factors, the economy, your background, it feels kind of hopeless sometimes, right?
Exactly. Corley's work flips that. It suggests if you want different financial outcomes, maybe you don't need a lottery win. Maybe you just need different daily habits. It's more of a habit gap, you could say, than purely an income gap.
A habit gap, I like that. So it's not just the big moments, like buying a house or choosing a stock. It's the everyday stuff, how you use your time, how you handle money, even like your mindset.
Yeah, the small things add up. They compound over time. That's the whole principle. And this is where that consistency really kicks in. His research kind of simplifies things, pulling the focus away from things you can't control to things you can, these daily rituals.
Okay, so let's get specific then. Corley identified these common patterns, right? 6 core categories, the 6 rich habits.
hmm And what's interesting is none of these are exactly, earth-shattering secrets kept under lock and key. They're quite foundational. But doing them day in, day out, that seems to be where the advantage comes from.
Right. So let's start with number 1, the power of written goals. He found wealthy people don't just vaguely want to be successful. They actually write down clear, specific goals. Daily ones, weekly, long-term.
Yeah, and the writing part seems crucial. His study showed a huge percentage of the wealthy did this regularly. Almost none in the financially struggling group did. Why write it down? Well, it makes it concrete, doesn't it? Takes it from a wish to an actual plan.
Forces you to clarify, I guess.
Exactly. It gives you a sort of roadmap, keeps you focused, lets you measure if you're actually getting closer to hitting that target. It aligns your daily actions.
Okay, so goals give direction. What about habit number 2? Continuous learning. This one surprised me a bit. The sheer amount of time involved.
It's significant. We're not talking about just skimming headlines or, scrolling social media feeds. This is dedicated time, often daily, for reading educational stuff, self-improvement books, things directly related to their field or interests.
How much time are we talking?
Corley found a big chunk, a significant percentage, spend at least 30 minutes every day just on this kind of focused learning.
And the payoff for that time investment, what's the thinking there?
Well, think about how fast things change. Skills get outdated. Continuous learning keeps you sharp, adaptable. It opens doors. Essentially, they're investing in their own mind, which is arguably their biggest asset, right? They understand that standing still means falling behind.
That makes sense. They're proactive about knowledge.
Right. They're seeking out insights rather than waiting for them.
Okay, moving from mind investment to actual money. Habit 3, ironclad financial discipline. This sounds more like what people traditionally expect.
It is, but the consistency is key. Successful people in his study weren't just earning a lot, they were keeping and growing a good portion of it. Specifically, Corley found many aim to save and invest 20% or more of their income.
20%.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot, especially if you're just starting out or on an average income.
It does feel steep. And Corley highlighted a couple of things that enable this. First, they track their spending meticulously. They know where the money goes. Second, they're really careful about debt, particularly high-interest debt like credit cards. They see it as a major obstacle to saving.
So it's discipline first, then the saving percentage follows.
Pretty much. Because even a high income doesn't build wealth if it's all flying out the door, right? Discipline prevents that leakage. And that discipline allows compounding to work its magic over years, decades even. That 20% isn't a one-off, it's a habit.
Okay, that discipline links nicely, maybe unexpectedly, to habit 4, health and self-care. How does that fit into financial success?
Corley found things like regular exercise, paying attention to diet, just general health maintenance were really common daily habits among the wealthy.
And the connection is,
It seems pretty direct, actually, even if we don't always think about it. Good health gives you energy. Crucially, it gives you mental clarity. You need stamina for the long haul, for that consistent effort we talked about with the other habits. If you're always tired or sick, it's hard to stay disciplined.
Right. You can't build an empire if you're burnt out.
Exactly. They treat their health like a core asset, fundamental infrastructure for everything else they're trying to achieve.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, let's shift gears slightly to the people around them. Habit 5. Nurturing relationships.
Yeah, this is about who you spend your time with. Corley found the wealthy are very intentional about their social circles. They actively connect with positive, ambitious, success-oriented people. And just as importantly, they limit exposure to negativity or chronic complainers.
So you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, kind of thing. Yeah.
Pretty much. Your environment shapes your thinking, your habits, even the opportunities that come your way. It's hard to maintain positive habits if your circle constantly undermines them. They build strong networks through consistent effort, checking in, offering help, building trust. It's reciprocal.
Interesting. It's not just about networking events then, but daily cultivation.
Right. Building real connections.
And that brings us to the final one, number 6. The one that sort of underpins everything else, the ownership mindset.
Yes, this is all about attitude. It's about thinking long-term, being proactive, not reactive, seeing setbacks not as disasters, but as immediate learning opportunities. And the absolute core of it, believing you are responsible for your own life outcomes, 100%.
No blaming external factors.
Much less so. When things go wrong, a bad investment, a business deal falls through the reaction isn't primarily to blame the market or bad luck. It's more like, okay, what did I do wrong? What could I have done differently? How do I adjust? That resilience, that willingness to take responsibility keeps them moving forward consistently.
Wow. Okay, so those are the 6 habits: goals, learning, financial discipline, health, relationships, and ownership mindset. Now, for someone listening wanting to apply this, what are the practical first steps? It sounds like a lot to take on.
It definitely can feel overwhelming, and Corley actually warns against trying to do everything at once. That's just a setup for failure and burnout. The advice is clear. Choose 1 or 2 habits to focus on initially, just 1 or 2.
So don't try to become a super saver, marathon runner, and goal-setting guru overnight.
Please don't. Maybe it's just committing to 20 or 30 minutes of focused reading each day, or maybe it's setting up that automatic savings transfer, even if it's a small amount to start. Pick something achievable.
Okay, start small. What else?
The second takeaway is make it measurable. Vague intentions like, I'll save more or I'll be healthier don't really work. Get specific. I will save 10% of this paycheck. Or I will walk for 30 minutes after dinner. You need something concrete you can actually track.
Right, so you know if you're actually doing it.
Exactly. And that leads to the third, maybe most crucial point. Consistency is key. Remember, the book title is Rich Habits, The Daily Success Habits. The real power Corley identified wasn't in big, heroic, one-off actions. It's in the small things, repeated day after day, accumulating over time. That's where the transformation happens.
It's the compounding effect, but for habits, not just money.
Precisely. 5 minutes of focused action done consistently can be more powerful than hours of sporadic effort.
And I guess the really encouraging part of all this is that these things, setting goals, reading, saving, exercising, choosing your circle, shifting your mindset, they're all things you can actually control, right?
Absolutely. That's the empowering message. You don't need external permission or a sudden windfall to start. These are internal choices available to anyone willing to make them. You can literally start today.
Okay, that's a great place to wrap up our main discussion on this deep dive into rich habits. If you're listening and feeling motivated, here's a quick challenge based directly on the research. Just take 5 minutes right now or right after this, grab a piece of paper and write down 3 specific professional or financial goals you want to achieve in the next 90 days. Just get them down.
Yeah, that's a perfect first step. And maybe a final thought to chew on. If things like health and relationships consistently show up as habits of the wealthy, maybe building real financial security isn't just about managing money. Perhaps it requires managing your whole personal ecosystem, your health, your focus, your relationships, just as carefully as you manage your bank balance. Something to think about.
That's a really powerful point. Manage your ecosystem. I like that. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope you found it valuable. Thanks for listening. If you did enjoy it, please consider subscribing and definitely let us know your thoughts or questions in the comment section. We do read them. Oh, and one more thing. You can head over to our resource center on the website. We've put together a free checklist based on Corley's daily success habits of wealthy individuals. You can download that to help you get started. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.